The OptiJack connector is designed for easy installation and maintenance, and unlike many other fiber optic connectors, the OptiJack features an adapterless design which eliminates unnecessary steps and simplifies installation. Before we go through the steps of the installation process, there are several precautions to keep in mind. Always wear your safety glasses. Never look into the end of a fiber optic cable that might be attached to a laser. Make sure the work area is properly ventilated. Carefully dispose of any pieces of bare fiber. And always handle fiber cabling with care. For more information, consult Panduit termination instructions. Before you begin terminating the OptiJack, we recommend you obtain the Panduit FJKITG Toolkit. This comprehensive collection of tools and equipment will provide everything you need to perform plug and jack terminations quickly and easily. The OptiJack connector is very easy to install. Here's how to terminate a plug. First, before we can begin the actual plug termination process, we have to prepare the fiber. If you're using a duplex cable, split the two cables about 6 inches back from the front of the fibers. Insert the fiber ends through the boot and slide the boot back to where the cables are split. Insert one fiber through each of the two holes at the rear of the plug housing. Maintain the proper orientation of the fibers by referring to the A and B marks. Mark the jack at 1 1/2 inches from the end of the fiber. Remove the outer fiber jacket to that mark. Fold back the exposed aramid yarn and insert each of the fibers through one of the crimp sleeves, smaller end first, holding back the aramid yarn with the sleeves. Finally, mark the buffer 9/16 of an inch from the jacket, then strip off the buffer to that mark, but take off no more than 1/2 an inch at a time. If you strip off more, you could break the fiber. Clean the bare fiber with an alcohol-soaked cloth to remove any coating. Next, dip the fiber end into the primer. Then, carefully place the fiber to the side on a lint-free cloth. The next step is to terminate the fiber in the ferrule housing. Taking a syringe filled with adhesive, insert the needle tip into the plug assembly backbone until the syringe bottoms out against the rear of the ferrule. Squeeze gently on the syringe plunger and dispense adhesive until a small bead of adhesive forms on the front tip of the ferrule. Quickly insert the bare fiber into the rear of the backbone and through the ferrule until the buffer bottoms out against the rear of the ferrule. Apply a small bead of primer to the tip of the ferrule to activate the adhesive. The adhesive takes about a minute to cure, and while you're waiting, attach the crimp sleeve. Begin to attach the crimp sleeve by cutting the aramid yarn so that the ends of the strands touch the flange of the ferrule holder. Fan out the aramid strands and wrap them evenly around the threaded area at the back of the ferrule assembly. Slide the crimp sleeve over the crimp area, trapping the aramid yarn strands between the crimp sleeve and the threaded ferrule assembly backbone. Use the larger cavity in the crimp tool die to crimp over the larger end of the crimp sleeve, and then use the smaller cavity in the crimp tool die to crimp the smaller end of the crimp sleeve over the jacket of the fiber. Use the edge of a cloth to absorb any primer and unhardened adhesive. Use the cleave tool to score the surface of the fiber just after it leaves the ferrule. Pull away the fiber end and carefully discard it using the safety tabs provided in the toolkit. Take a piece of 5-micron polishing paper and gently air polish the fiber end until the fiber stub is about as tall as it is wide. Next, place the ferrule in the polishing puck and polish the fiber end by gently making 10 figure-8 motions of the puck on 5-micron polishing paper placed upon the polishing pad. Stop when the fiber no longer leaves a streak on the polishing paper. Clean the ferrule end with an alcohol-soaked wipe. Make 3 more figure-8s on 1-micron polishing paper and clean the ferrule end again. Inspect the end finish with a microscope provided in the termination kit. There should be no blemishes on the fiber core. If everything is looking good, repeat these steps for the second ferrule. When finished, start to insert the ferrule assemblies into the plug by placing dust covers over the ends of the terminated ferrules. Insert the ferrule assemblies into the plug housing and press down on the dust covers until the snap at the bottom of the ferrule assembly engages with the plug housing. To attach the boot, slide the boot over the rear of the plug housing. The tabs on the plug housing fit snugly into the holes on either side of the boot. You will find that terminating the jack is as quick and easy as terminating the plug, and many of the steps are virtually identical. Again, before we can begin the termination process, we must prepare the fiber. For a duplex cable, split the two fibers about 6 inches from the front. Insert the fiber ends through the boots, then slide the boots back. Strip off about 1 1/4 inches of jacket and hold the aramid yarn back with the crimp sleeve. Mark the buffer 5/16 of an inch from the jacket. Strip off the buffer to expose the bare fiber. The next step is to terminate the fiber in the ferrule housing. Taking a syringe filled with adhesive, insert the tip into the jack assembly backbone until the syringe bottoms out against the rear of the ferrule. Gently dispense adhesive until a small bead forms on the front tip of the ferrule. Quickly install the bare fiber into the rear of the ferrule housing. Apply a drop of primer on the tip of the ferrule. Cut the aramid yarn so that the ends of the strands touch the flange of the ferrule holder and then wrap them evenly around the threaded area on the ferrule backbone. Slide the crimp sleeve over the crimp area. Crimp the larger end of the crimp sleeve over the backbone. Then crimp the smaller end of the crimp sleeve over the jacket of the fiber. Score the surface of the fiber and discard the fiber end. Air polish the fiber end with 5-micron polishing paper. Place the ferrule in the polishing puck and polish the fiber end by gently making figure-8 motions of the puck on 5-micron polishing paper. Repeat with 1-micron polishing paper. Check out the end finish. If everything is looking good, repeat these steps for the second ferrule. Start to insert the ferrule assemblies into the jack by sliding the boots forward and over the rear of the crimp sleeve until they touch the rear of the larger crimp diameter. Position the A and B marks on the jack covers so that they are upright and facing you. Insert each of the boots into the cover, maintaining proper orientation. The boots and ferrule assemblies should now be held snugly by the cover. Position the cover behind the jack housing and engage the cover using the alignment rails in the cover and jack housing. Then push the cover forward so that the ferrules enter the split sleeves in the jack housing. Click the cover in place. And that's it. Very easy installation, very fast installation. The OptiJack connector. A familiar appearance to increase the installer's comfort level and speed of installation. Small size to improve port density and cut costs. Adapterless design for greater cost efficiency and ease of installation. And a non-optical disconnect to ensure continuous service. The OptiJack connector is the ultimate solution for your structured cabling system. And it's 100% compatible with Panduit products. The OptiJack connector. The ultimate solution. Only from Panduit.